Attention my scars, my testimony family. Do you want to save time and money when winning your RAF case? Today's video is sponsored by Mieko Attorneys. They have you covered in RAF claims and more. Please follow them on Facebook. You can also email them at amyeco@myecoattorneys.co.za. A big thanks to Mieko Attorneys for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get to it.
Good evening, Sanbonani, Molweni, Lochani, Dumelang Emakhaya. Once again, it's a beautiful Friday with your host, Usis Nomzamo. And siyabulela, siyanbona niya subscriber. Thank you so much for your love and support. Please, when ungeka subscribe, sikhona ku Facebook, My Scars, My Testimony. Ku TikTok, My Scars, My Testimony. Ku YouTube Friday. Ngo-7 p.m. sikhona sihlele nawe. Niyazi ukuthi sinomzamo akachili yedwa on Friday. Today ndinosisi uZanele omhle. Hello sisi.
Hello.
Unjani?
Ngiyaphila njani?
Ndiyaphila, usemhle mfazi.
Nkosi.
Ndiyaphila. Welcome to My Scars, My Testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. USiZanele ungubani? Ungubani nje umuntu ongamaziyo nje?
Oh, okay. My name is Zanele Manjo. I grew up in Eastern Cape in a small town called Indwe, in a little village called Vukani. I've done my primary school in my village, and then I've went to Ida High School, and then after that I've went to Middleburg Cape, and then that is where I've done my diploma in agriculture. And then my grandma raised me.
Bekunjani nje ukukhuliswa ngogogo?
That was a very nice experience because my granny was the one who had a influence in my career, because I've had a passion with farming when I started to stay with my grandmother, because she had a outside garden. She was working in a farm as a domestic worker, and then after that, when she retired, she always had a backside garden. So that's where I started my passion in agriculture. From there, that's what in high school, that is where I started to have a passion in agriculture. And then I've taken agriculture as a subject because I am a science student. So my grandma used to, we used to plant with her. I've enjoyed that experience in the garden. And then after my matric, that's where I decided that I want to further my studies in agriculture, because it is something that you can live with.
Kwixesha langoku kusekhona umuntu othanda agriculture emncinci kangaka, like really izityalo?
Yes.
Wow. So now do you have your own garden?
Yes, I do have my outlam. Like I have my backyard garden, and I also have a space that I'm planting in a community center.
Oh wow. So do you give back to the community after planting?
Yes, we because the community center is the one that feed the children that are from the underprivileged homes. So they cook for the children, and then we have to share. Even if you are using the space to earn a profit, so you have to share your vegetables with them. Yes, because you're using their space.
Okay. Mina ngithanda ispinach. Uzongipha masiphuma la.
No.
Utshalile masikako.
No, for other people I sell.
Oh, you are doing business.
Yes, I'm doing business.
Okay.
That's the center that I'm giving to them.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because I'm using their own space. So I'm not paying for the space, yes.
I'll come and
so
buy.
The appreciation, yes, it's for me to give them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So wakhula ukhuliswa ngugogo, you grew up, and then boom, waba seJozi.
Yeah, okay. Firstly, I came to Joburg. It was after matric. I took an unexpected gap year. It was 2011. I wanted to go to school, so things didn't go according to plan, because my first choice was being a radiography, but because of the financial constraints, I couldn't. And then I had to take a gap year. I've worked in Robertsville in a firm to raise the funds for my registration in Grootfontein. Yes, from there I went back to school. That is where I did agriculture.
Okay. Okay. So if you were given an opportunity to go back to school now, what would you do?
For now, my journey has changed because I've got a lot of experience that I've encountered. I'll do psychology or social work
Why?
because I've seen my influence in people's life when I'm giving people advice or when like when I encounter things, like I'm very passionate in giving people advice. I'm very passionate into inspiring people. So social work will be the career that will influence people. Like being a social worker, you have to give people advices, you have to counsel people, like even in psychologists, you have to counsel people, you have to go through their traumatic experiences. So I think that's the career that I want to do now.
I know Guti, you have chose that career because of the scars you went through as
Yes.
well, which we're gonna talk about today.
Yes.
You have a kid,
Yes, I have a kid.
which it's one of the reason why you wanted to be a social worker.
Yes.
So boom, okay, uyafika Josie. She gets pregnant. Can you take us through the pregnancy?
Okay. Let me take you to my pregnancy. When after my college years, I came back to Joburg looking for a job, and then boom, I got pregnant, and I was 26 when I got pregnant, and it was not an easy pregnancy. I don't want to lie. So one of the things when I've experienced what I've experienced, I was blaming myself on the other things. I was like, maybe I was stressing too much. That's why my son is like this. But as I go to the psychologist, I've learned that there's nothing that I've done for my child to be autistic. So yeah, I got my child when I was 26, and 1 year down, I mean 1 month down the line, I turned 27, and then my child was normal when he was young, up until he was 2 years. That's where I realized that he's different from other kids.
Before we got to the son, how was it like being pregnant at the young age? The challenges that you faced?
You see, being pregnant, like that was not a plan of being pregnant, having not a stable job, because that time I was working as part-time. And then I felt like I've disappointed my family because my mom was like, both my parents were still thinking that I'll get a job and maybe I get married and then that is where I can get a kid. Yes. So it was a traumatic experience, especially when you getting pregnant with someone who is not 100% involved in your pregnancy.
And then you go through all that.
Yes.
Abazali, they get angry.
Yes.
Do you have siblings?
I do have siblings.
Nabo bakwatela.
Exactly.
You went through all that trauma and drama at the same time. Kwaphumeka kodwa.
Yes, kwaphumeka. And I think during my pregnancy time, that is where the relationship between me and my mom, yafuna like ba ike yashakeka, and then things got fixed after. But I think that is the thing that made me to have more scars on that, because I expected my mom to be more supportive. It was my father that was more supportive than my mom. Yes.
Mama obeka disappointed.
Like she was disappointed with the person that got me pregnant.
And so elalini, how was it?
Yeah, it was fine, but abantu, they always have things to say. We're not expecting bangamithiswa ngulamto, and then all those things. But mna ndingulaa mntu uphila ndingazohoyi into ezithethwa ngabantu from the outside. Izinto ezindivisa kabuhlungu kakhulu ngabantu abasondele kum, because those people I trust bangabona abantu bafanele baba there on my difficult times.
And then you gave birth.
Yes, I did give birth. And then, I gave birth when my son was 6 months. I suffered from postnatal depression. Yes.
Can you elaborate deeper?
Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
they're different. Ngenzela
Yes.
ukuthi obukele ekhaya azi
Yes.
ukuthi
Okay.
iyenzani yona.
When I was when my son was about to turn 6 months, it was 2020 in April. So I became depressed. Postnatal depression, it is triggered by the things that are happening at that time, but it is some of the things that you've bottled up for years. That is what I've learned. And then like you having different thoughts, you hallucinating, you struggling to sleep, like you're not yourself. So I was admitted in hospital. By the time that the COVID started, I was in hospital.
In the mental.
No, not in the mental hospital. It was in a provincial hospital. Yes. So, but it's like in a mental ward, because that is where I've worked out, because they say if I'm not getting better, I'm going to a mental hospital. Yes. So seeing people in my ward, I told myself that I'm not going to be like that. I have to fight back for my son. Yes. So depression, it's like a monster. You have suicidal thoughts. Like everything is exaggerated. Like everything, you are being so emotional. Everything, like you take it, you're too sensitive when you're having a depression. If someone is saying something, you're taking it too deep, and you burst even if someone said something that is so small, because of the things that you've carried through long time. So it is now the time that you are bursting. It's like you're fighting everyone. Like it's like you feel like everyone is up against to get you. Yes.
So ungathini emakhaya kubantu abadila with people abagoa through depression?
One thing that I can say to people that are dealing with people who have depression, be kind to them, find them counseling, and don't let people with depression stay alone, because a lot of the thing that you need to be scared of, they have suicidal thoughts, and some of them, they do win. That is why a lot of people who have depression, they don't survive. So you need to be kind to them. You need to listen to them, even if maybe they see things that you still think these things, they're unseen, but you need to listen to them until on their healing process. That is what I can advise. And then please advise them to take their medication, because some people, they just don't want to take the medication that are depressed, because it has a lot of side effects as well.
Yeah. Nevile babukele emakhaya, let's support them, let's love them, let's go all out for them. So usisanele nasi sisu singaka wangena esibhedlela mfazi wadeliver a baby boy.
Yes.
Bekunjani?
Okay. The moment, you see, I was not financially ready when I was pregnant, but the moment that I went to a 3D scan with my son and the doctor said that he is a healthy baby boy, that is where I get to bond with my son. I said, you know what? I'm bringing a healthy baby in this world. I have to fight for the child. I have to be strong for my child. No matter how things are difficult, I have to pull through. I delivered my son. He was a healthy baby boy, and nothing that was wrong with him when he was younger. Yes. Up until he was 2 years.
What happened in Kule 2 years?
Oh, okay. My son, like, he with his milestones, he was fast, crawling, sitting, and walking. Up until I can see that my child is not talking. And then he was repeating words. He was hyperactive. He was playing toys differently. He was flipping hands. I see that my son is different. And then I took him to the local clinic. I said that my son is 2, but he's not talking. And then the nurses say that I'm diagnosing the child. He's still early. I must be worried when he's 5.
Like, Betsy, from 2 years,
Yes.
it's okay.
Yes, they say the boys are slower. But I said in my side, from my family, there's no baby that like 2 years without speaking. So my son, it was more like a baby language. He was not speaking. Like, he was playing toys differently. He was very hyperactive, and he became aggressive. Sometimes he have tantrums. So I said, no, this is not normal for a toddler to be this aggressive.
Imake. Mauti not talking. Begungena, mama,
Yeah.
hello, hi. Just no sound, nje.
He did have sound. Like, he was repeating, like, if he's saying mama, 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 like that. Or nana, 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 you'll be repeating those. But he will not speak. And a lot of time when he was focusing on screens, like, he likes screens, my son likes screens. When he was watching TV, if you're calling his name, it will take time to delay. Like, he will delay to look at you. Or you said, come and eat, he will be busy with whatever he's doing. He will not come to you.
Until you have to touch him.
Yes. Or until you have to interrupt him or switch the TV so that he can focus on you.
Kwabanjani mfazi? Experience alone.
From that experience, it was stressing me out. Like, I was blaming myself that being depressed maybe might affected my son, or getting my son at the late 20s. Like, I had a lot of things that I was thinking. Maybe it is something that has been happening through my pregnancy. Like, I had a lot that I was thinking that could be possible cause my son to be autistic. Up until we were referred to a psychologist, that is where I got to understand my son better.
Maga explainela what's the condition? Wow.
Oh, okay. First thing that I had to find out from his father's side family, he had an aunt that they say she spoke when she was 5, and like, his family didn't see anything wrong, and uyabazi abantu bakudala ilabantu abathi no wayengena next. So I didn't want to ukuthi ngizisole. So I went back to the clinic, and then I asked for a referral. So they referred us to esibhedlela. So where we had to see a psychologist. A psychologist told me that autism, it's not something that you have to blame yourself. It is something that is it's a genetic type of disorder, and then it affects the communication of an individual. And then they say that it affects the behavior as well of an individual. So they process things different than a neurodivergent kid.
So what treatment did the psychologist do?
So for the first 2 years, we didn't get any treatment. They had to train him how to behave. And it was difficult for me to train a child that was not on treatment. We received the treatment this year because I started in 2022. So we went to audiologist, we went to neurodevelopmental, we went to psychologist, we went to speech therapy. So it was a lot of therapy for a young boy. And it was overwhelming for a little child because some days you wouldn't want to cooperate. Because on a speech therapy, you have to teach the child how to behave. You have to teach the child on how to play in a certain way. So like a normal kid. So for a special kid, it is difficult. It's like you feel like he was cooped in a place that he doesn't want to be in.
Yeah. My scars, my testimony.
So another thing that helped us, it was my neurodevelopment, like the neurodevelopment team, because it takes time to have an appointment in there because we were going to the audiologist, checking his ears if are working fine, checking if he doesn't have a tongue tie. He was fine, but the team that they helped through my son's journey, it's a neurodevelopmental team because they have to check how his brain is working. That is where they diagnosed that he was autistic. And autism has got 3 levels. So kids that are autistic, they're not the same. They behave differently. Each and every kid is different. So there's level 1, there's level 2, there's level 3. And my son is a level 3 autistic. So he's not speaking completely, but now he's improving. He can say mama, he can say hlala, he can say tata, he can say ina. Like he can say a lot of words, but the thing that he doesn't do, he can't join the sentences. And then he can say ndilambile. But now you can see, like when you are calling his name, he can he can respond to instructions now. Because through the speech therapy and another therapist, that's how he responds. So you use more of a signs and use gestures and the words, but little words.
But bekangakuhluphi makakhula with other sicknesses mhlawumbe?
No, bekangangihluphi.
He was just a healthy boy.
Yeah, he was a healthy boy.
So bowuwedwa on this journey?
Yeah, ngathi bengingedwa. My family was there, but they didn't understand my child's condition. So I wouldn't say they were there. I've been through speech therapies alone. I've been through neurodevelopment alone. Like each and every appointment I've went with my son.
So now, do you take him to a daycare or a creche so that he can bond with other kids?
Yes, I took him to a daycare, but the first daycare that I took him to, I feel like they were excluding my child. Like he was just there. I was just paying the money, but they couldn't cooperate with him. So I had to take off him from the daycare. He sit almost 6 months at home, and then I had to take him to another daycare because I wanted a special daycare until the therapist said, no, you need to take the child to a normal daycare so that he can see the competition that other kids are speaking so that he can learn to speak through other kids. So I had to take him to another daycare. It was a very exciting experience because I can see he's improving in his speech. And then they recommend treatment so that he can be not that hyperactive, because when he was turning tantrums, like he didn't, when he didn't want something or he wants something, he will hit his head or he will just roll down or he will just bite you. So I had to ask if they can recommend anything that can calm that. And then they gave him a treatment, which was a Rispidon. Yes.
Is it working well with him?
Yes, it was. It's working well with him because they give him in a little dosage, but as they say that he's still in the therapy say he's still a bit hyperactive on some days, so they increase the dosage. Now it's working very well for him. He can focus, he can sit, because you're a child that is autistic, he doesn't sit down. He climbs things. Like he runs. I remember when I was in a mall someday, he got lost. A kid that is autistic, there's no way you cannot have a story that he was lost. Because they run. And they're very fast. With 2 minutes, you cannot see where they went.
So at this point, angisho umntana uyakwazi ukuthi this it's his favorite. Uthanda ukudlala ibhola, uthanda ukuthi wena njengoba improve, so yini favorite yakhe ayithanda?
It's cars. He likes cars. My child loves cars. He likes to play with a ball, but no, he likes to play with cars. Even like in like a normal car, real car, he gets excited when he gets into a normal car. And then even with his toys, he had a lot of toys that his car. When we get to a toy store, he grab a car.
What would you say to mothers with children that are having disabilities?
One thing I can say, never exclude your child from the outside world. Treat your child that is normal. And then take your child to a park so that he can see other kids. Because a lot of people that they have as special kids, baba valele endlini abantwana, especially abantwana aba autistic, nabantwana nje abanama special need, baba valele endlini. They don't take them to school. Baba valela. So I feel like I can advise them ukuthi baba expose it to the outside world, and so that you can teach even the normal kids here at home how to treat your child.
And to ama families who have a member enomntwana kanjalo ungathini go?
What I can say to the families as namantwana, like, or as namama onomntwana on a disability, they must be supportive. They mustn't compare your kid with the kids that are normal in a family. Say, no, siyaqala ukubona umntwana so. No, you need to understand that each and every child is different from other kids. Yes, even if you don't have a disabled child, it's the first time, you don't have to compare that child with any child. So the family needs to be supportive. The family don't need to compare. The family needs to be there and understand the kid, so that the mother doesn't feel like if umntanami ngimshile is not in a safe hands, but a female. They need to be very supportive to the mother and the child who's special.
Say la kuma advice to the community, because the community bayakhuluma abantu.
Yes.
What would you say to the community?
What I can say to the community, first thing, as teaching abantwana ukuthi bangahleki abanye abantwana abanama special needs, because I believe abantwana ukuze bahleke abantwana, it's because of the parents. They didn't teach ukuthi no, lo mntana different. It's not that uyiskhwele or something. You need to teach your children ukuthi abantwana abafani. And then even the older people, there's this word abayisebenzisayo ukuthi slow learner. They all use for the special kids. They say I'm a slow learner. No, they are not slow learners. Abantwana about disabled. So I need the community needs to be more educated. They need to research more. Like baye unikeza ama comments afani kubantwana or abazali abanabantwana ba disabled. So because most of the time abantwana be disabled abazithembi because of the comments ezikhulunywa, even in abantu aba disabled abadala abazithembi because of the comments ezikhulunywa ngabantu.
Atomonya Sanele, how did you survive throughout a community yako? Because I can see you're a strong woman.
Yes.
You're such a strong and amazing woman and a wonderful mother. How did you survive?
One thing that was, I can say that made me to survive, I said that I'm going to tell my story one day. It was the therapist of my kid. Like, there are days that I was doubting that I was doing fine for my child. She said, Mama, you are a best mother. Never, ever doubt that. And another thing, a person that I can say who's been there for me, it's my brother. My brother is not here. He's in Cape Town. He's been, like, supportive through this journey. He said, sis, whatever people they say about your kid, you don't need to take them into heart. You know you are doing this for your kid. You need to be strong. There will be comments, there will be things, there will be breakdowns some days, but never give up on your child.
At schools, abantwana, they are different. And Owako now, you're taking him to the public school, I will say so.
Yes.
Where he has to interact. Utoluguti, sometimes the kids, they understand. But our teacher, they are the one mistreating the kids.
Yes.
Ungathini nje kubo mem with abantwana abane disability.
What I can say to abo mem aba teach abantwana to a normal school, I know that some of us as funu ukuthatha abantwana to a special school, which is they say they cater for kids that have special need. What I need to advise abo mem, they need to be patient with kids. Abantwana abafani, even be normal. They need to be more patient kumbantwana abanama special need, because what the kid can do or normal, it's 10 times difficult for a child who's disabled. So they need to be patient. So I always say this to the parents who have normal kids. Thank God 10 times, because what is easy for you, it is 10 times difficult for us who have special need kids. So I think the teachers, they need to be very patient with the kids. They need to accept ukuthi abantwana ba different. Like bangamthathi ukuthi oh lona nje uyahlupha on all those stuff. They need to be very patient with the kid.
Oh boy. Akahluphi makuze kudleni.
Okay, one thing, my son was a fussy eater. He didn't eat a lot of things when we started this journey. He didn't eat meat. He didn't eat eggs. A lot of proteins, he didn't eat them. So up until I have to introduce things in a different way so that he can eat, I had to put things so that I had to wash his hands. I have to give things in hands so that he can feel them and smell. Things that normal kids, they don't do. Most autistic kids, they smell and feel the texture so that they can put things in the mouth. They don't put anything in their mouth. So like they are very fussy eaters. We went to a dietitian, so he had to write us a special diet for the child up until they give him a treatment. Now he's better.
Uyayidla inyama?
Uyayidla inyama, but he still doesn't eat red meat.
Sekakhulile,
Yeah.
sekakhulile. How was it like for you manje ukuthi okay, mina ngithanda inyama njengomXhosa, ndipheka ipapa endlini ndidla inyama, and then now I have to focus kule diet yomntwana.
Oh, it was difficult. Like, it was difficult. You have to cook the meat. And umntana akayidli. It was stressing out, Shem. I don't want to lie. And it's in Amaxhosa, we do love meat. I don't want to lie. So,
But
yeah.
thina sibakhulisa ngayo. Like the first
it
thing
was
we
very
give them.
difficult, and it's stressing for umntwana othanda into you-one, because most of the times one thing that he liked, it was noodles. He will eat pap with gravy sometimes, but no, he didn't want, like he wanted something constantly. So to change the diet for him, it was something that it's like, it was fussy. So yeah, it was very difficult, but we're getting there.
Makuze empahleni, is he not choosy?
Yes, he is.
I'm trying to understand the child.
He is. You see, my child doesn't speak, ne? But if umqokisa into angayifuni, he will cry all the way out. So you have to choose the things that he like. He like cartoons, so you have to choose things, especially the t-shirts. You have to choose the thing that has his favorite cartoons. If maybe umqokisa a plain t-shirt, ngiyakutshela uzokhala Shem. Uzokhala, especially if especially one thing that he likes to pick the shoes and the t-shirts because he likes the cartoons. If you just pick the plain t-shirt, uzokhala nize niyofika lapho niyakhona until uzomncenga azabe right. Even the shoes, izihlangu angazifuni nje, like especially the sandals, you have to choose like ukuthi umgqokisa azoba comfortable ukuhamba ngazo. Angazifuni uzozikhumula, uzofika lapho enihamba niyakhona ehamba ngenyawo.
So what do you do as a mother? Do you take him for shopping and then mhlampe umbonisa ukuthi this one? Or
We go for a shopping, but mostly of the time, when I understand him now, ukuthi ngamapha ama characters awathandayo. So I had to choose ama t-shirts and my favorite characters, like even the jeans, like things that I know ukuthi uyazithanda ukuba comfortable, because there are things ezinyanga zangazigqoke because akazithandi. So in the shopping, mangenayo vele ngiyazi ukuthi he gets in the clothes, like he get excited with the colors. So he will be pointing the finger on that and they say, do you like this one? I know, okay, we are itandale, and then we take it. But most of the time, manje, akasenayo le nto bafasi kakhulu ngempahla because sesiyayazi ama characters wakhe.
so try.
Yeah.
So uyakwazi ukungena njengomama wonke uthi nasi iskipa somfana.
Because kuqala it was difficult ukumkhethela impahla because ubungayazi ukuthi uzofika ayithandi le ndlini. Most of the t-shirts azithandayo, they have to zibe nama print-ons or zibe nama favorite characters because he likes to read, but akusasemncane. He like books nazo. Like one thing basically sugi therapy. A therapy chila incwadi, like web page incwadi. And then abuze ukuthi does he like books? Ngithi ati, do you know autistic kids, they teach themselves how to read? I said I didn't know. I say she ute. That is why he likes books. He's trying to teach himself how to read. So don't stop him from paging the books. He will get there when he's 6, 7. He will teach himself how to read.
And then writing, nakhona bayazifundisa.
Writing, you have to teach them, but abanye, they like most of the kids that are autistic, they don't want to be taught ukuthi bayenze yini.
Bayenze.
That's why they get frustrated when you teach them. Izinto bazenzela ngesikhathi sabo.
Makufike ebantwini, abantwana angisho bachoose. Makufike ebantwini, how is his reaction?
Mntanami unabantu bakhe, like yena Shem is a people's person, uyabathanda abantu, but there are those people abosabayo, abanye akafuni ukusondela kubo, but yeah, some of them babambi ngathi ngabantu abaziyo, uyabona into ezinjalo. Abanye uyabasaba, like you will be like, especially umuntu orasayo, he will be very anxious, abone ukuthi hayi lo muntu ngathi uyashoutisa even if akachiki. So uyabasaba, he has his people abachuzayo ukuthi lo I know right, lo akekho right, but and especially the moment ukhulumela phezulu usije ukuthi uyashouta.
So ukuhamba naye kuma public space aga react in a way, because I remember you mentioned indaba ukuthi okay walahleke emuntu.
No,
Bekunjani?
yo, those, yo, that day, it was a frustrating day. Okay, we went for a photo shoot for my niece. It was after we take his photo, and then from there, in 2 minutes, he disappeared, and then we looked the whole mall up until we got him in the securities. Like, it was not far from where we were doing the photo shoot. It's just that he couldn't communicate. So he was shaking his head until they can right. I'm grateful they took him to the securities. Yes, it was difficult. The first time, because like ubizowisa yonke into shop and all those stuff, but now he is understanding the shopping because I've been taking him to the shop so that he can get used to the environment. Because first ebefika shelf ayise yonke izinto, afika grab everything ayithanda ayifakele, even if you don't have imali for lezo zinto. He had to grab a lot of toys, grab a lot of sweets, chips, everything that he wants in the trolley, and then maybe that time you're taking into a store.
Mara wakopa.
Yeah.
By God's grace.
It was difficult, Shem. Abanye, I understand abazali why they can't take their autistic kids to the public spaces. It's very difficult because some of them, they even scared of the lifts. Like banama fears abantwana bane autism. They even have a fear being touched. Abafuna ukutouchwa nakuphi. They don't want to be cut inwele zabo abanye babo. Abanye they don't want to be cut ama nails. So they different. Izinto baz understand are different. Like banama fears kakhulu.
With boy, when it comes to ama feelings unjani so.
With touching, he doesn't have a problem because he likes to be touched. The problem that he has, he is scared to be cut his hair, but now it's getting better because we've been doing his haircuts. And then another thing, the lift I've started when he was younger, he's not fearing. But the thing that his fear is heights. He's scared of heights, If we're going on the escalators, you rather use the stairs that are not moving. He's scared of heights. But if he climbs, I don't know how he doesn't scared. But when you take him in something that is higher, he's very scared. Yes, but with the touching, he's not scared. He's still scared getting cut off his head. But cutting his nails is fine.
So about Dogotela, you say they are really pushing. They are really helping. To a mother or to know me, there's things I'm a therapy, I'm a section, nkulunkulu dalile, nkulunkulu wenzile, let it be so. Ungathini kubo?
a lot of mothers, I've encountered some of them. Abanye bayasho kuma-session ukuthi hayi lama-session awancedi siyafika sidlale laphayana. It's useless to go there. It is not useless. I can advise komama babantwana abanabantwana bahamba kuma-therapy. They need to take the kids to each and every therapy. It's helping. Sometimes you cannot see ukuthi it's helping. It will take time because umntwana nomntwana understand ngendlela different. So I would advise them ukuthi they mustn't miss any session yomntwana. Even if bona bafeel ukuthi it's useless, but do it for your kid. Kwenzela ukuthi umntwana azokhona ukudevelopa because it's about development. So as dogs afundisa umntwana ona-2 kubhala because on this therapies, they even teach them how to write. But if your child is still 2, they will teach them to play. They won't teach to write. So I would advise nabantwana ukuthi they must take them to each and every therapy. They mustn't get tired to take them.
How do you communicate with your son in terms of magafuna ukuya toilet?
Oh, okay. With that, it's very difficult. The potty training, but now we are getting there. Most of the time, the therapists have advised that we must use gestures, we must use pictures. So, abantwana, they have routines. I'm using a routine. So I know that when we wake up, he must know that it's brushing teeth, you're eating your breakfast, you're taking your meds, and then if usendlini vele uzodlala, from there, it's bath time, and then if ufuna ukuya toilet, you have to take your child each and every 15 minutes than a normal kid. You take them until bajwayele ukuya toilet. Because some of the kids, they are not trained ukuthi baye toilet. They're still all on the pull-ups. So now I had to take my child each and every 15 minutes to the toilet. Every time when I'm going, I have to take him. Even if I'm not going, I have to take him so that he gets used to that. And then I've used the potty seat, yeah. Yes, so I had to take him every 15 minutes until he gets used to it.
So uyajwayela manje.
Uyajwayela manje. He's no longer putting on the pampers. Yes.
Uyakhula. Kanje, how old is he now?
He's 5. He turned 5 last month.
Oh, wow. Poo. Uyakhula. Wow. So it's been a journey.
Yes.
Since birth up until 5
now.
years.
Yes.
Uhleli nomntwana ongakhulumi. Uhleli nomntwana
Ongakhona ukucommunicate naye. Yeah.
Ongakhona nje ukwenza izinto naye. But ukuthethe nje kuyi.
Yes. Most of the time, like, what I was advised to Guti, I must not use a baby language. I must not beat the child. Because, if you're beating the child on especially, like, they feel, that's why abanye babo, but bayashayana kubanye bantwana. Because if you're beating the child, you're teaching them it is right to beat. You're teaching the child it is. They say you must punish them in a different way so that they will understand things. Because if you are beating them, you are making them worse. So yeah, yes, ngiyamshouta, but ngendlela yami. But another thing about Sienze, you mustn't speak in baby language. Speak like normal, as if you are kulum, until you understand. So yeah, you have a yes, ngiyamthethisa, but they say you mustn't beat the child.
Okay. Yeah, you're a strong woman. Power to Imbogoto. I want to say power to Kubo Mama who are raising abantwana with special needs. Don't give up. Ningaphelelwa inhliziyo. God is on your side. So, Usisanele, as young as you are, what would you say to our teenagers there? Abathi maba pregnant and do abortions.
What I can tell you, some of the kids abanama special need, but babonakala even usase pregnant because there's other mother bengihlangene naye in a speech therapy. Umntwana wakhe uthi yena she saw the child ukuthi uzaba ne Down syndrome even when she was pregnant. And if maybe bekuwomunye umama ebezothi I must abort the child because I'm not going to deal with a special need child, especially if bekuwumzali omncane maybe njengami, something like that. What I can advise abantu who want to do abortion, I'm not saying that don't do it. God trusted you with that soul. You must bring that soul. You don't know, Guti, maybe you are aborting a president. Oganye, that child uzokubonisa something yena maybe angangayifa in academics, maybe angaba ngumntana or creative. So I'm not saying ukuthi they mustn't do abortions. Yes, it's someone's choice and illegal, but what I can advise them ukuthi uNkulunkulu ukutrustile nalomntwana, you need to bring that child to the world as an experience. Even if you are giving up, giving up the child for adoption, it's fine. Please give that child a chance to live. Because awazi ukuthi uNkulunkulu unama-plans amaphi ngomntwana loyo.
Enkonzweni, do you take your son to church?
Yes, I do.
Ureacta kanjani?
Yo, it's another story. You saw mna ecaweni umntanami yo ebeqala like even in any crowded space ebaba frustrated. So ecaweni he was getting frustrated masifike ecaweni, especially ingxolo and all the instruments ezisetshenziswa ecaweni. So yo, it was difficult for him. But unfortunately enough, ngathola like ama church members, abantu abadala, they were very understanding. They know ukuthi if I bring him snack, each and everyone will be bringing him snack, something to distract him, because he wanted to go out before ikawe iphuma ebakhala. Like some of the time ebakhala almost half of the time sisesontweni, but up until he got used to that, because ebesaba shem. Like indaweni abantu abaningi ebasaba and esontweni kuyagcwala, so yo, it was very overwhelmed. So ebakhala like afuna ukuphuma asaba yo, up until ngazi ukuthi yini yamenza ukuthi ajwayele. So my pastor uye wathi, please bring your child each and every Sunday. Uzozajwayele. I know ukuthi it's difficult for wena ukuthi focus esontweni umntana makeka. Like now I wanted to say, hey, maybe mele ngimshiya. I said, no, bring that child to the church so that he will understand ukuthi kusesontweni la we're using instruments, we're doing this, we sing, up until he will know ukuthi okay, now there's something engithandayo. Now you can use some of the instrument.
Wow.
Even if busy bayenze preaching or uzobe sebenzisa ama instruments and then bathi miyeke uzozabe right.
Wow, siyambonga umfundisi wakho. Siyambonga
Yeah.
ukuthi kube umfundisi welcoming. So ngisise lapho kwindaba yabafundisi. Ungathini kubafundisi abangakhona ukwamkela abantwana abanama special needs because of ceremony yami, it's being disturbed, ibandla lami, it's not going well, as wena as umzali end up ufile ngathi
Left out.
or umshiya umntwana ekhaya just because of ibandla lakho. What would you say to the pastors?
What I can advise the pastors, angithi esontweni indawo yomuntu wonke. So I know ukuthi you have to ukuthi magu preacher, there has to be that like kufanele kuthule, but I think esontweni they have to be very very welcoming. Kufanele ba understand ukuthi abanye abantu abafani, like they have to accommodate leyo mntwana until abe right, because ama ungumzali ngeke ukhona ukushiya umntwana next door mara uthi uye esontweni, akukho right. Awazi ukuthi umntwana wakho bazomphatha kanjani lapho umshiye khona. They must just understand ukuthi if you are like unomntwana kumele uhambe naye umntwana. Vele abantwana bayadineka esontweni ukuthi sometimes kuyathulwa, bathanda that part ukuthi kuyaculwa, so makuthulwa they get bored abantwana. So I think ebandleni they must find something okanye yokuthi maybe they can find a playroom. I don't say ukuthi they must have a playroom. They can have ukuthi lapho bazodlalela khona abantwana. If ayikho leyo nto, they must understand ukuthi if abantwana bala sinayo indlela yokubathulisa ngayo. You have a way of disciplining the kids. Okanye singamcela umama ukuthi amthulise umntwana azabe right aphinda ngene naye esontweni. Not ukuthi bathi bayaphazamiseka, hayi ungazi naye esontweni uyasiphazamisa into enjalo, because safety yomntwana comes first.
Do you think ukuthi emabandleni they still need to be educated more about ama special kids?
Yes, they need to, because not wonke umuntu understandayo. I don't blame them, because vele ibandla nebandla line setup yalo. So coming a kid ozofike adisturbe and ongazwa uhayi because neurodivergent kid uya-understand amawuthi thula. So umntwana oyi-special need soze understand amawuthi akathuli yabona. So I think esibandleni they need to be more educated. So no mama womntwana, like abazali babantwana, they need to educate abantu that are surrounding wena. From esikoleni somntwana, you need to educate abothisha, you need to educate nasesontweni. Don't get tired to educate abantu because abanye abantu awazi ukuthi why they behave in a certain way because they are not educated enough.
You know, Sithema Sincokola wathinta indaba ye-bullying. Ukuthi i-community sometimes neba-bullied because of abantwana abangama-special need. In terms of i-bullying, ungathini nje kubazali and the kids when they face i-situation yomntwana one-special need?
I always say to your special moms, you need to be your advocate for the kid. If your child is bullied, you can see your child ukuthi bullied because even if ama-special needs akakhona ukukhuluma but they can hear you. Abantwana banawo ama-reactions. So you need to advocate for your child. You need ukuba leyo situation we avoid. If you are not there or bakutshelile esikoleni ukuthi umntwana akho ubhulishwe ubani, you need to come to that child ubize nomzali wakho umtshela ukuthi fundisa umntwana wakho ukuthi kuba so na so, because you cannot ukuthi maybe ukuthi uzofuna ukuthi udiscipline umntwana omunye umuntu. You need to involve their parent as well ukuthi they need to educate their kids ngabantwana ukuthi ba different so that they don't bully abantwana. You don't have to ukuthi udile ne-bullying wena ngoba wena unomntwana o-special need. They need to educate their kids. Nabothisha bacala ukuthi they need to educate other kids bazokhona uku-understand umntwana wakho. And in a community, like bakhona abantu vele even nabadala abakhuluma like ababullisha, they need to be educated ngezo situations. They need to mabangabi ignorant because kids nabantu abanama-special need abadala, they are there, they're not going anywhere. They don't need to be excluded from public places.
Kunento engithintayo about fathers. Abanye bobaba, they will say once you deliver as a mother and then they find out ukuthi you've got a special child.
That's true.
And then bese badla phansi.
Exactly.
What would you say to them?
Okay, what I can say kuba baba part-timerayo raising the kids okanye abavele babaleke because bakhona abanye abavele ukuthi hey mina akekho umuntu owazi waso ekhaya, I can't deal with this. What I can advise to them, special need kids, they need father figure as well because it's a lot to deal than a normal child. So they need to be supportive to their baby mamas, or they need to be supportive to their kids. Even if you are not involved together, just for the sake of the kid, you need to be there in your child's life. Because naye umntwana uyamdinga ubaba. Abe there for yena. Nawe as ubaba, you need ukuthi anga-understand ulo muntu ahlala naye kuphela. Nawe you have to understand your child. Because if uthi wena uyabaleka because umntwana uyi-special need, uzom-understanda kanjani when you visit the child? You need to be there every step of the way of your child so that you can understand the child. Even if ukuthiwa hayi wena awusafuni ukuba part of this, but for your child's sake, you need to be there. Ngaba advise ukuthi babe 100% like available for abantwana babo, not just ukuthi ngiyenzela ifavor, angafili ngathi umenzela ifavor mama umntwana ngoba umntwana is special need, abe there for umntwana wakhe so that hazuma understand.
Nezwile bobaba emakhaya, let's support our kids no matter the situation, no matter ukuthi umntwana onjani, siyamsupporta, we stand by abantwana bethu. You know, I'm so touched the way you are so, you imbokodo girl. Hayi anifuna ungatsho. Yazi uyimbokodo. Like, you know, umuntu ongathi okay sisanele, I see the passion in you. I see the mothering in you. I see ukuthi lento ukuthi you want to be a social worker. Where will I find you? utholakala kuphi, your social media platforms, umuntu othi I want to be advised by you, like ndifuna uthetha nawe isincokole, you know, or umuntu othi I want to be there and support you and the child.
Oh, okay. On the social, ku Facebook, I'm Zilungutu Manjo. And then ku Instagram, I'm Zanele Manjo. And ku TikTok, yes, I'm still Zilungutu Manjo. Ndifumaneka kulo ma platforms, and I also have a WhatsApp number. I don't know if I can share it.
You can share it if you
My WhatsApp number is 073 139 6590. That's where you can get me. Umuntu ofuna advice angandifonela okanye andi WhatsApp kulo number. I am there.
Umama kaBoy.
Yes.
Umama kaBoy, what would be sisazovala sisivala inkqubo yethu, ungathini nje amagama enkuthazo?
Oh, amagama enkuthazo engawathetha. Nam, I'm a human being. I have imminent gender breakdowns. Now, like I can say, each and every person, noba awungomzali nomntana with special need, like, let yourself being a human being. Have your breakdowns, but never give up a life in. What I can advise abantu out there, like, live your life ngendlela ofuna uyiphila ngayo, nomntana akho umkhulise ngelihlobo ofuna ukumkhulisa ngalo. What I can advise abantu, you don't need uzifilele sorry, because umntana akho ujonge wena. If wena ufeel sorry for yourself, what about the person who's looking up to you? So you need to be strong for lo mntu uyi role model kuye, which is umntanakho.
Oh wow, what a powerful words. Siyabulela babukele emakhaya, siyabulela sisisanele.
Nkosi.
Uthathe ithuba lakho ukuthi uzohlala nathi, uxoxe nathi. Enkosi, uThixo anigcine noBoy, may he cover you, may he protect you, may he also provide for you.
Thank you so much.
Siyabulela babukele emakhaya, once again with your host Usis Nomzamo Busuku Benzolo. Enkosi.
Thank you.
Thank you.